LCD screen, it is, a pentalobe number 2. And
Right.
if you get out your Torx number 5, then you're down at the replace RAM level, and you've gone too far in. And like, it makes sense when they teach it to you that way, but when you have to go out and buy the iFixit kit
Yeah.
and start from scratch, and you don't know this design philosophy, engineering philosophy, you're like, why can't it all just be number 2 Phillips?
Well, I hate Phillips screws. Phillips screws are the
Yes.
devil. The only thing that's worse than a Phillips screw is a flathead, and I personally see no use for flatheads or Phillips anymore.
There's a
'Cause-
reason why we invented Phillips. Yeah.
I know, because flatheads suck. And then the thing is with the Phillips, they're kind of designed to cam out.
It's specifically designed to cam out. That's how
And
the machine knows to stop turning.
yeah,
That
and
this machine doesn't, but
hate
the
them.
machine on the assembly
Hate
line
them.
does.
Well, and if you're electric screwdriver fan, right? Or God help you if you're using something with a lot of balls more than the
Right.
Amazon screwdriver, which is my go-to, you will shred a Phillips screw before you know it.
Right.
You know, and I've had to back out some Phillips screws, and it's suck.
And then the worst thing ever is people using impact drivers when they shouldn't be using impact
Right.
drivers.
Right.
Like, you hear that at campsites. I mean, I'm an RVer, so you hear that at campsites all the time. Putting down the
Right.
the landing gear that isn't supposed to be jackhammered down. Just use a regular drill and don't go at full blast. And occasional maintenance, add a little bit of white lithium grease.
Okay. I made T.O.
Okay.
look like a book character. You're famous,
Cool.
T.O. Jody,
yes.
good morning. How are you? Would you work all night or something? Yeah, Tim was streaming at 8 o'clock. And it was funny. He was in our chat earlier, like 30, 40 minutes ago. And he said, I'm streaming at 9 a.m. while y'all are waiting. And I was like, Tim, you jerk. And I don't know if he's in here yet. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, never mind. Tim's not a jerk. He's on the wrong time zone. Okay.
Yeah. Time zones are weird, man.
Well, I was watching a YouTube video yesterday. I think it was SciShow or Vlog Brothers, one of the two, the Greens, John and Hank Green, that we have 26 time zones in the world for a day that has only got 24 hours.
And 24 of those time zones are in the U.S.?
No. Oh, Lord, no. And then some countries just arbitrarily pick their time zone because they want to be special.
These new boys here thinking that they can change the time zone rules.
Oh, no.
HamTube is Central Time.
Central Time, brother. Central Time.
Get out of here.
Get out of that Eastern Time, Tim. No.
Yeah. So GQ here is absolutely correct. So I learned how to use an electric drill motor as a screwdriver with a single speed drill and flathead screws. So I've got this technique nailed.
Yeah.
And people who just no.
Well, I think what throws you off sometimes, especially when you have a new tool, is the amount of torque you're throwing down when you go to do that. And then the other thing, the other thing that will screw the pooch quickly, is if you're not dead level with the end of the screw, especially on a Phillips screw, if you're not dead square flat level, hot straight normal, Tim, for you, Navy speed.
Yep.
With that screw head, you will shred that thing.
Exactly. It's
very quickly.
It's technique.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like the collective on a helicopter.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. I don't fly helicopters, but I know theoretically how that.
I get that reference. Yeah.
That dingus works mostly. Yeah. There's way better screw heads. Robertson's, Torx, JIS. Personally, I'm like, okay, let's lose the Torx and just stay with Robertson's, but
Posidrive.
I'm not sure I remember which one.
It's like a Phillips with 4 extra lobes.
Okay. There you go. Kind of like a Torx.
Yeah. But the 4 extras are kind of recessed from the 4 main. It's weird. Yeah, ham till it hurts is right. Central Time is the time of the cloth. Exactly.
That's right. That's right.
And it's just because most of the ham tubers in the first dawn of ham tube, the first age of ham tube, were all in Central Time. And so that's where we standardized.
Right. Well, and if you, you have your outliers. You have Josh and Chuck, who are both on California time.
Yeah.
To, who is the Yasser Arafat of ham tube, and you never know never
I'm
2 nights in the same time zone.
I'm in Mountain Time right now, but I still have my laptop clock in Central Time, and I'm just a little screwed up as a result of that.
And then the question is, are you in Arizona Mountain Time, or are you in the rest of Mountain Time? Because Arizona is
Yeah.
precious.
Well, there's actually like a place in Arizona that doesn't follow the Arizona time zone rules as well. Arizona doesn't observe daylight wasting time, I think it is. And then there's a spot in Arizona that does.
That the reservations that are out there. That was in the
Yep.
video I watched like yesterday or the day before. I remember that.
And there's this really weird thing where last year I drove one day over before the time zone changed. So it's like I gained an hour and lost 2 hours all in the same day. Or it's just I don't know exactly how it happened, but I was screwed up for a while. And then my buddy Hayden over in Australia, when we have our daylight wasting time, he has his opposite time. So he doesn't move 1 hour, he moves 2 hours away.
Relative to us, yes.
Because he moved 1 hour in his direction and we moved 1 hour in our direction, which put us, simultaneously 2 hours away.
Yes. I have the secondary time on my watch face set to Hobart time. Hobart. So I don't annoy the piss out of him, like at 2:30 in his morning when I'm, at work, awake and playing FT8 at the office or something. It's so strange. Yeah, Scott is right. Some of the time zones are on the half hour. There's a few that are 15 minutes or 45 minutes as well.
Weird.
There's some odd ones.
Those
very odd ones.
Need to be shot.
And I'm like, I just whatever. And in some countries, and I can't remember which ones, if you look at a time zone map of the EU, and if we really cared about this, I could pull this up and find it. But generally, Europe is more or less Greenwich +1. And there's a few odd countries that are definitely not longitudinally aligned with G+1 that have decided they're G+1 also. And
I feel like we're in Star Trek buzzword soup right now.
Space. You said Star Trek. Like Spain or Portugal, maybe Algiers, one of the North African countries. I don't remember, but it was just odd because it's like you have this block of Greenwich +1, Zulu +1, and then you have this country over here to the side, whatever one it was, that's also on G+1, and that makes no sense for them to be on G+1 from a scientific sense. It's weird. And then when you get into the international dateline, there's some weird little. The islands aren't weird, but there's some islands. Howland Island is one of them, and I cannot remember the name of the other one out in the Pacific. That literally no one lives on those islands. There are no humans that stay there. Right? It'd be a great de-expedition for people. And they're in a different time zone, so they're always in the same day. But it's like, who cares what time zone you're in? Because they would have fallen on the other side of the international dateline. So whatever genius decided that said, oh, these are too close. They just need to be in this time zone. So there's like a little carve out to put these two islands in the same time zone. So they're in the same day as the rest of the time zone they're close to, but not in. It's just weird. It's weird. So anyway, we actually are going to talk about ham radio this morning too. Good morning, Brother Steve. Brother Steve is the minister of RF, and we'd like to welcome you to Ham Church this morning, y'all.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Brother Jim.
Good morning, Brother Steve. And we're done with time zones now because it's just batshit crazy. Let's go with that, and we're gonna move on. So I got a couple things I wanted to share this morning and talk about. Number one, the amp sitch. So, and I have a video clip I can roll if we want to watch it. But Brother Aloysius, thank you, has started passing the plate around.
Excellent.
Thank you very much for the $9.99 super chat, my friend. Appreciate it greatly. So the amp situation, I've got to say, so far with Mercury's customer service, I'm super duper impressed. I learned a couple things, and this is in the video clip, and I could show it. It's queued up. But so when I got the amp, I'm all excited. But before I put it in production here in the house, I was out in the shop, had it on the bench out there, and I had my 857 hooked to it. And I have the drive on the 857 hooked to set to 5 watts. And I'm going through all the bands and I'm recording this because I'm going to kind of make a video out of it, right? And I'm putting 5 watts in, and I'm generally getting somewhere between 350 and 450 out, depending on what band it is. And I have the exact moment filmed when everything went to crap, because what happened is I'm on 10 meters and I key up with 5 watts drive, and that's all good. And then I moved to 6 meters, and I didn't realize I had this exact thing filmed, but I do. And I keyed up on 6 meters. And then I get like 9 watts out. And I thought, well, I don't know, maybe it's because 6 meters is weird or something. And I keyed up a couple times, and then I quit and moved on. Now, no, I didn't get any warnings out of the amp. No red lights came on that said, oh my God, you're overdriving me or anything else. Well, I think I mentioned this last week. I did learn that 6 meters is a completely separate power setting on that radio, and might be on other radios, I don't know, but that one has absolutely got a different setting.
That's a Yaesu?
That's a Yaesu 857D. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, technically 6 meters is not HF. I get that. And in looking through the menus post-incident, when I was doing the root cause analysis of this, I believe it's HF is a power level, and then SSB is the other power level. And then there's a separate one for AM is a separate power level. And I'm like, oh my Christ. Okay. No wonder. But after talking to Brother Don, who I don't know is here this morning.
He's here in spirit. Grumpy old spirit.
He's always here in spirit. And yeah, he said that amp should have caught that. He still thinks it's a factory problem, not that I smoked it, because it's not like I held the thing down and keyed up for minutes at 100 watts.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, what did Mercury say about it?
Mercury hasn't said anything yet, other than I told them what I thought happened. I gave them, what I told you people just now. Yeah, I keyed up on 6 meters at 100 watts. I didn't realize I was on 100 watts. So
what is that saying? It takes a certain type of man to admit failure, admit fault.
An awesome ham, I guess. I don't know. And I mean, I learned that in the military. Don't make excuses. Own your screw ups. Right.
If only more people knew that.
Well, if everybody adhered to that, own your own screw ups. And so, anyway, talking to Don said his Mercury, he's done that more than once, and it immediately vetches at him and says, stop.
My Zygo amp does that. Yeah.
Stop. You're killing me, Smalls. And I think it folds back immediately when it detects overdrive. So mine did not do that. And I wasn't on 6 very long. So Don still thinks it's a factory issue. And then I was talking to Hollywood the other day about this as well. And he's in the chat. Morning, Hollywood. I was unaware of this because I don't know anything about the innards of amps. But there's an attenuator built into these amps, I guess in most amps. And Hollywood was telling me that a lot of the amps only have, especially the LD Moss ones apparently, have about a 10 dB attenuator. And Hollywood, being super old school technical wizard guy, he called it a pad. And I had to have him explain to me, okay, I've heard that term before. I'm not sure what that means exactly. And it's an attenuator.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, but a 10 dB. I mean, I gave that look out of like sheer surprise. A 10 dB attenuator on a 100-watt amp.
Well, it's not rated for 100 watts. Like, it's rated for 80. It's rated for 80. Oh yeah, yeah. If that was
Like, so what's the point?
So what Hollywood was saying is on these LD Moss amps, and Hollywood is not a fan of this design. With a 10 dB pad, you don't have to put in very much power to get a lot of power out because of the LD Moss design. And I'm not nearly smart enough to go into that more than I just did.
You whisper at them and they shout in return. I get it.
Yeah, yes, apparently. And if I showed the video clip, you'd see 5 amps in on all the bands except 6 meters, and you'd see 400 plus out on almost every one of them. I think 10 was like 350. Yeah. The others were more like 450. So Hollywood has a buddy who has a Mercury amp, and he actually changed out the pad I believe in his Mercury amp or some other amp Hollywood has, I don't remember the exact deets, to a much beefier one with more attenuation, so he can drive his amp at 100 watts and get full beans out instead of screwing around with worrying about the drive. The other thing I learned from Tom, WA2IVD, who was also much smarter than me.
Yeah, that man knows his stuff.
Tom is a follower of ALC. He said you should have been using your ALC, and that probably would have saved you. And Don thinks ALC is the devil and doesn't want to use ALC. So Hollywood, I believe Hollywood is on the ALC band as well.
Manual transmission versus automatic transmission.
Yeah.
They both work. One of them gets you more in touch and gives you have more responsibility as a result.
Yeah. I guess the ALC is more like a safety or a backstop.
The ALC tells the radio to calm its drive. Calm your drive.
Yeah. Something like that. Chris, thank you for being a member. Appreciate it. So I learned a fair amount about amps just from chatting with those guys. And Brother Tom, I know you're probably not here, but Kansas Jeff may be, and he'll share this with you. All hail the ALC. I will be plugging in the ALC cable from now on because I would like to have my amp back.
That without the LD MOS should be fine, but that's where you need that buffer box we talked about at Huntsville a couple of years ago between your modern day radio and your ancient tube amp, and your ancient tube amp is going to try and send a signal back to your modern radio and blow it up.
Right.
So not only do you need ALC to protect the amp from the radio, you need a buffer to protect the radio from the amp.
Right. And I have a buffer. I've had a buffer. I think I sold it because I got rid of my tube amp.
Yeah.
I had that 811 I sold to my buddy Lucas in Mississippi. You know him as Crunk, K4UNK, but I don't have that buffer anymore. But so I learned a lot with that. And watching the video, replaying the video, it's like it was at that moment he knew he screwed up.
That's when you saw God.
Yeah. Now no smoke came out or anything, but Don was 100% sure. He's like, I've done that. I've done that exact thing. And it throws up a warning on the LCD panel and holds back immediately and will not let me dork it up. And I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't work. I have an amp that does nothing at this point.
Yep.
So I'm either paying for it or I'm not. I don't care. If I have to pay for it, I screwed it up. And if I don't. And the other thing I want to mention about Mercury is when I emailed them and told them what I had done, and I said, yeah, I think this is my fault, so it needs to be fixed regardless. They emailed me back and told me they don't charge labor. All they make you pay for is parts and shipping. So I'm like, well, okay, because labor is
probably the difference between the engineer and the businessman.
Well, labor is probably way more expensive than any of the parts are, right?
Oh yeah, that man's time is worth something.
Oh yeah, yeah. Anyway. So I was pretty impressed with that. And one last Mercury comment. I got email from Mercury the other day that I am queued up to buy a Mercury light at this point. As I already own a Mercury 3S, I don't need the light. If any of you are interested, you can jump the line for a Mercury light. Shoot me an email or hit me up in Toads, and I'll forward the email I have from them. They will let you jump the line because that's how I got my 3S. Is I got a line jump email from one of you guys, and I don't remember who and whoever it was. Thank you very much. I'd have to look back at emails, but so if any of y'all are interested, let me know. The clock is ticking on that. You probably need to let me know today, tomorrow morning at the latest, and I'll forward it to you, and you can reach out to Mercury and get queued up for not having to wait 9 or 10 months for an amp. Anyway, wow. All right. So what else is going on with you, Steve? Where are we at this week? When are we moving?
I just got back from the YouTubers trip to Colorado. We had an awesome, an amazing time. So some of you guys know that the saga of my truck. I bought a new truck, so I've got a F350 long bed with the extended cab. And we went on some switchback, gravel, rocky, dirt mountain roads. And I had that thing in 4-wheel drive. And I only had to reverse once to make the switchback because you can imagine the turning radius is bad enough. And then you toss it into 4-wheel drive and the turning radius gets worse. And there's a road out here. Some of y'all have been on it called the $1 Million Highway, and if you've never been on it before, it's about a mile in elevation change, and there are no guardrails, and there's no shoulder, and sometimes there's chunks of road missing.
Could
And
be
I had
awkward.
planned my route out of here because I'm already sick of mountains, and I had planned my route out of here to try my best to avoid the mountains. And the first leg out of my trip was to take the $1 Million Highway with my 65-foot total length truck and trailer. And the entire time that we drove the $1 Million Highway out to our destination for the day and drove it back from our destination for that day, I was just puckered. Like, no, we're not, never,
Not
never again.
again.
So, yeah, so I'm going northwest to get out of here to go south. That's how bad it is.
Brother Jonathan,
Thank you very much,
you.
Jonathan. Jonathan has been having a blast with the N7600
Oh,
radio.
yeah.
That one came out. I did a video on that yesterday, and I gotta say, you guys are gonna see some salty videos coming out on my channel lately because people are like, well, that radio doesn't have knobs, so you can't program it. So yes, you can. And like, it's the same thing with like, well, DMR radios require the internet, and that's not real ham radio. No, they don't require the internet. They can be extended through the internet because we're hams and we're awesome and we do really cool things, but they don't require it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
one of
speaking
the
of
biggest misconceptions too about that whole thing.
yeah, speaking of that, I've got all of these Retevis radios. I finally repaired the last of the RT95, so there's a stack here, and one of these is already sold, and then the other 3 can be had, and they all work great, and none of them had anything wrong with them other than unhappy operators, which is allowed. I'm not saying you can't be unhappy with a purchase, but one of them, it's actually funny. The number one leading cause of these radios being returned seems to be that they didn't transmit on 70 centimeters, which dovetails into what we're talking about today. And one of them, when I turned it on, the display said 440000, which is an indication that somebody tried to transmit on some portion of the 70 centimeter band. Because what happens with this radio is you type in 44, and then the next digit determines whether the radio nopes or allows it. And so you type in 446 and the radio gives up and it says 440. You need to change the band plan in a radio. And it's a 3-finger salute. It's doable, but yeah, like Tim says, it's not your grandpa's ham radio anymore. Grandpa's ham radio, that would have been like whip out the soldering iron, build a new filter board, change the local oscillator, change the BFO inside, and blah 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 blah. You've now got a radio that operates on a different kind of band. Modern radios are all, microprocessor and SDR based and so on. And you 3-finger salute, rotate a knob, hit the save button, and you're off to the races.
Grandpa's ham radio is that episode of Star Trek where Kirk and Spock are back in the 1930s, and Spock is sitting at a table attempting to make mnemonic circuits out of stone knives and bear claws.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people, and Hollywood is one of them. He's a tube man. He loves his tubes.
I would love to get into tube radios. It's really funny. Like me as a modern ham,
but I don't. I'm
like, I want to try it. I want to taste the bite of a tube radio, and I look at it with like opened eyes and wild-eyed amazement. And the older hams look at these new radios and they're like, like
Liberty Cave. You have a very good point there. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about too. Thank you, LC. You reminded me of something else I wanted to mention.
The all caps comment, yeah.
No, well, actually, no, not that. That's yours to share if you'd like to. But the other thing that I wanted to mention was documentation. And LC nailed it. And Dave, you're absolutely correct. Single sideband is ruining ham radio.
That was a thing. There was actually the anti-single sideband society. Mm-hmm. Like people created a movement about this. Like, do not. And what's even worse about it, I mean, I'm ranting because that's what we do on this show. Single sideband had been in existence for like 30 years, and hams had like fought it mercilessly, tooth and nail, to not allow it. And meanwhile, it was like the biggest thing in transatlantic cabling to enable long distance communications. It like doubled the bandwidth and halved the cost of making a long distance call to your loved ones back in across the pond. But hams, no, we can't single sideband. And now we're getting ESSB, and hams are like, no, single sideband must only be 3 kilohertz.
Right.
Okay. No room for advancement in this hobby at all.
And the data speed, the data rate, the symbol rate. What? What I mean, in 81 with your Commodore 60, well, of course, it'd be
It
1982
that
with
wasn't
your
it,
Commodore
Jim.
64. It's like,
That
stop it.
it was it was a government limitation to prevent espionage and treason.
Okay.
Because if I'm going to commit espionage and treason, I'm going to follow 100% of the US laws when I do that crime.
Right.
That's exactly how laws work. A law stops me from doing something more illegal than the illegal thing I was already in the middle of doing.
True. Christopher Schulte, thank you for being a member. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Christopher.
So you were talking about documentation
Yes.
and two things. So one is I have this, which I have not played with yet.
Oh, that.
You got one too? Of course you do. Oh, he's my spirit brother. So these are, to my understanding, POC radios. I've read the piece of paper.
We tried a POC radio. It didn't work. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to mention. So documentation, LC triggered me on this because I was already
Triggered.
I already meant to mention it. You triggered me, LC. The POC radios that Steve and I had, and I'm not going to mention a brand because they have a new one coming out that I'm going to get one at least, hopefully, that supposedly does like VHF and POC radio. And I've seen these on a couple of other ham tuber channels. Steve and I both had these. We played with them. Both of us told the company, don't really feel comfortable doing a video on this because it's not going to be pretty. And I don't want to recommend it if it's got issues. And the problem Steve and I had is, number one, neither one of us are completely dim. And we could not get the two radios to sing Kumbaya where I could talk to him in Arizona and I'm in Alabama on these POC radios. Now, I got two of them, and Steve did too. And the two that I had, I did the syncy thing. Me and my minion at work played with them. They worked fine. He took one to his house. He lives about 35 miles away from me as the crow flies. We talked on them just fine. We played with them at the office. They worked great. But Steve and I could not make them sing Kumbaya over long distance.
It was a software problem.
Yeah, it is. And the other problem that was wrong with those, and this is what I told the company, dudes, the documentation that's on your website does not come close to matching what I'm seeing on the screen of this radio. So I can't figure this out even if I'm reading the documentation, which by the time I'm reading the documentation, it's end of days. Dogs and cats living together. I mean, I like to be able to. I mean, if I
it's
can't.
2025. You can afford RAM in your radio. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. And
so
the product was well built, and it was a good deal. Yeah. It was a really good deal. But now the other thing about the POC radios is these radios were a cellular phone in the form of a radio. That's what they were.
Yep.
So this whole off-grid thing, I mean, like, okay, it's another cell phone is what it is, and it looks like a radio. The cost on them is honestly stupid cheap for what they provide, but I'm like,
if it's just you and your wife, then they make perfect sense and they are cheap. But if it's you and your
cell phone,
if it's you and your kid that's going off to college, I think there's a problem, but I would need 3 radios in order to verify this. And ICOM does have POC radios, LED. You're absolutely correct. And they're fun to use. They're great tools. They serve a wonderful purpose, and I'm glad that they exist. But the way that these things worked is you turn them on next to each other and they form an ad hoc Bluetooth network and exchange vital statistics and information about each other. And now you have a group of radios. So if you turn 3 of them on, you have a group of 3. If you turn 4, you have a group of 4. If you turn 2, you have a group of. If you turn 1 on, well, you're kind of screwed. Why do you have a radio and no friends?
Right.
We got gifted memberships.
Yeah, we do. Nate, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. T.O., who got them?
So this is pretty cool. This is Restream and not StreamYard. Yeah. This is new behind the scenes. And so Elodie got one. Hank got one. I got one.
It's about time.
I had one for a while, but then, you pissed me off and I killed it.
I quit being a member on your channel a long time ago.
Right. Kevin got one and Cooley got one. I made a contact with Cooley while we were out at the park. It was rough. The bands were horrible. But so my thought process is back to where I was on the POC thing. if you don't have the ability to do the app, which I didn't,
Right.
I tried 3 different devices, an Android and 2 Apple devices, and none of the 3 made it up. I think what'll happen is if these things get popular enough, you and your child going off to college will create that ad hoc network, form a group, form a team, be able to communicate with each other. Your kid will go off to college and the radio will be off during, transfer from state A to state B,
Right.
and then they'll turn it back on and it might get comfy with the ones at college and form another ad hoc group, and you're not in that group anymore. Now you can't talk to your kid and the app doesn't work, so you can't create an actual room that you want, the
Yep.
automatic transmission versus manual transmission thing. And so I think that it's going to be kind of a problem.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that piece that he just mentioned, but yeah, there's some disconnects. I thought they were built well. They felt sturdy.
Yeah.
I mean,
So the company that we got them from did not manufacture those. Those were labeled.
Yeah.
Somebody else makes those.
yeah. And so I don't know. They're not crap, Lee. There's just some disconnects in documentation versus the menuing system. And I think the problem is documentation, and some software needs to be updated to match the documentation or vice versa.
Yeah.
And I think the use case for them is like Steve's talking about. It's kind of limited. I gave Macy has a cell phone. Macy's my daughter. If you guys managed to not know that after all this time. Yeah. And she has a cell phone now. And for years, she had the kids plan on Verizon, which limited the number of people who could even talk to her phone and yada, yada, yada. Now she's on the regular phone, but I also trust the kid. But I think in that kind of use case for a kid's comm device, not bad, because they can't text on it. They can't go to TikTok on it. They can't look at porn on it, especially if they're boys, because you know how we are.
This is church. We do not accept porn.
Right. And even though it's mostly the purpose of the entire internet these days, but
the internet is for porn.
Porn delivery and cat pictures. And I think that's kind of a use case, or for a backup emergency cell phone. And once you buy the radios, a pair is $350, and that gives you a year of service. And then after that year of service, it's $29 a year for United States service on those
nationwide coverage. Yeah, because it does require it requires a SIM. You need to be on the cellular network.
Yeah,
so you got to pay your way.
And I mean, again, I think it has a use case. I don't really know that I care enough to have an emergency backup radio looking cell phone. Again, if I traveled a lot or something, or my wife traveled a lot, possibly, but I don't know.
LED, the end of days has already come and went. We're on the other side. We're past peak humanity.
Right. We're on the backside. So
I hate to say this, but there's a company out there, and it's TalkPod. Actually, they have a service called LinkPoon, which is the dumbest name ever. That means something different in China.
That's on this thing that I have.
Okay.
The same one.
Okay, good.
It says LinkPoon in there.
Because that's the one that I think.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. That's the one that I think is actually going to be good. So there's this thing where old hams go to live out their last remaining days, and they are no longer allowed to put up antennas. And LinkPoon is a virtual ham type, ham look-alike service. So you can actually tune frequencies. They're all fake, and you can find people who are not fake talking on these fake frequencies over POC, push to talk over cell.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can relive your glory days of ham radio without having any antennas, without having a base station or anything, without going crazy. You can still do the root cause of ham radio, which is talking to people across the planet and meeting strangers and having interesting conversations. So I think there's actually like that. Should you get the N76 or the B-Tech? So the short answer to that is, do you want to save money or do you want a fancy color?
I got the UV Pro because it was available, and it was cheap. Available in multiple colors. As long as it was black, it was $5 cheaper.
Yeah.
And I would have gotten the N76, but red was not available. That Sun Gun over there has the only red one that I could find. And I'd have to go find him and beat him up and take it. And he's taller than me and younger than me, so that probably would work out awkwardly.
no difference between them other than the price tag and the colors. The colored models cost more, and the black model costs less. And well, I mean, there's a difference without a difference. The BTEC comes with a bank of channels that are already pre-programmed
Yeah.
for the weather channel frequencies, which you could
Yeah.
actually just do yourself. Manual transmission versus automatic transmission. Jonathan's going to sell you his red one. But these are the best value going in ham radio right now. This is 160 some, 170 some dollars, depending on which one you get. And they are like everything that ham radio needs to be. They're every bit of the Kenwood D75 without some of the polish, which is fine because they're doing a good job of polishing it up. And
Yeah.
with literally an eighth of the price tag. What is the D75 like 800? And this is 200, so about an eighth, a
Six
fourth.
at least. I think it's more than that. It's like 650, 750 maybe. I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, Ham Man, that's exactly right. If you got a phone from AT&T, Poopy Beige was free, and if you wanted some other color, it was an extra fee monthly per use of that. I had a red phone growing up. I think we had to pay $1 extra a month for me to have a red plastic shell on my pot phone.
Made it so you could buy them, just at Radio Shack for $20. Those brick phones with the 2-finger handle under the receiver. Those things were like $500 or $600 for that brick. Yeah. But speaking of bricks, this is the N7600, which is their new model with the screen on it. So this is that salty video. I show how to program this from the front panel, and I was talking to Hayden. I'm like, I've made too many videos today. I need to stop. I did like 5 videos yesterday, and the VGC N7600 is also a fantastic deal of a radio. We're going to have to do something with the Toads DI board in order to get you to have external digital modes if you don't want to do Bluetooth TNC digital modes. So some of the more advanced stuff like Vara FM as an example. Vara FM bypasses KISS. So that would be hilarious, Chris.
Yeah, eyes on the green locks.
I actually need to do a bunch of work in here.
The POC thing, I think, has potential, and if a company comes out with a POC link radio that does at least 2 meters and APRS for those people, I think it would be a good seller. But it's hard for me personally to justify buying one personally. I mean, I have nothing wrong with the technology, but it's a cell phone. It looks like a radio, but it's a cell phone. If it was a radio too, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And if you can interface from the cellular network to it in some way, even better. But
if you just go to Amazon right now and search for 4G POC radios, and they are more advanced than
a lot of radios.
Yeah. Every ham radio out there. I mean, they've got an Android OS running on them. You can load apps to them. They have GPS built in. They can talk over multiple cellular networks. Ham radio. There's something about ham radio that is holding it back. And I know 2 of the things that are doing it, but there's got to be I know 3 of the things that are doing it. We should do a rant show on that one day.
Save that thought then. We'll do that next week. That's good. Write that down. Make a note of that.
Write that down. I am.
So I don't know. I'm looking forward to playing with the Talk Pod and seeing how well it works and everything. And this is a beta unit, and they say it on the paper that's in it. So I don't know that I'm going to be dropping a video on it immediately. I want to clarify that they don't care if I do, or that they want to review it before I say anything about it. So I don't know. But I do want to play with the radio, and I like the color. I like the Motorola green, zombie green, whatever you want to call it.
Jim, one of the things that's keeping ham radio back is a cultural thing, and it might be considered racist. I don't know.
What? Because I like green?
No. Yeah, it's getting spicy.
I missed the memo on that. What did I say? Did I say something?
No, not you. I'm saying like the future show that we haven't said yet. One of the things, and it's not even a black-white thing. It's not an American thing. It's one of the things is a culture, and it's really weird because like people do have culture, and I do respect that they have culture, but certain cultures clash with certain other cultures, and they don't have to align at all.
Okay.
So it's like it technically like it fits the textbook definition of racism, but it's not racist in its nature. Like it just is. You know, like saying an Irishman likes to drink. Yeah, I do. You know, I don't feel bad about that.
It's my island.
My Ireland. Yes.
Um, Another thing I wanted to mention today, and
That's from
uh,
Braveheart.
yeah, that was Braveheart, was masts. And I know Vince did a video on this, and somebody else did too.
You're actually gonna like stay on topic here, try and get us back to topic. What?
Well, I had just a bunch of little thoughts I wanted to share with the with humanity out there. They may not know this. I don't know. I mean, I've been out sick this week with what I thought was COVID, and I think was just the flu. So I've had nothing to do but watch a lot of YouTube this week. I've consumed a ton of YouTube content. If you have a POTA 20 or POTA 33 mast, the carbon fiber models, because that's all they come in, Gigaparts sells replacement sections now for those. And if, like me, you had an incident where you did not have the mast completely screwed in tight to its sections, and it had a catastrophic full gravity acceleration down to ground, and you popped off bits of it and broke it, you can get replacement sections from Gigaparts. No, I do not have a code because I'm not cool enough to have a Gigaparts code.
It's hard to get a Gigaparts code, and even if you do have the Gigaparts code, it's limited to certain products. And Gigaparts
Yeah.
is working on changing their affiliate program because I find it really hard to work with them. Like you can get this thing on Gigaparts, and then I give you a laundry list of 30 pages of 40 products per page to go through to find the thing. It hurts.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Not by y'all, you mean Jim Lee.
it's the first time I've been sick in forever. You're talking about the other night when I missed car. Well,
Yeah.
there was something else. I was at work. Yeah, I've missed Coffee and Ham Radios 2 weeks in a row. This week I missed because I didn't feel good. And then the week before I was out because I was at work upgrading firewalls and switches, which is for safety's sake an on-premise operation, because if I don't do it, the IT gods will smite me and I still have to drive back into work. So I just work.
It's painful that half hour of downtime because you missed the letter Z in the command or something.
Right. Yes. So anyway, so if you have one of those masts, they sell the replacement parts, and my understanding is it's the same replacement parts for both masts. But check on Gigaparts because they do sell them for the POTA 20 and the POTA 33 mast, which I thought was super cool because now I once again have a use instead of having to white trash it with duct tape on the top of it and hope that it stays, which I thought was pretty sweet. The other thing I wanted to mention, and this is probably going to cause a fight in the chat or a lot of hate, I don't know, is the government is to take some of our band. And I don't know a lot about this. I saw this today, pulled up the articles last night for the show. And Steve, I have this shared, but where do I make it go up on the screen?
It's moved. It's over on the right-hand side.
I'm not seeing it.
I just put it on the screen, and your internet stinks right now.
Okay. Well, of course.
But Restream does handle slow internet a lot better than StreamYard does. I've already felt the benefits of that.
See, I'm not even seeing it. What do you look? I'm seeing a blue screen here next to our faces.
That's what happened to me on our Nuggets live stream on Monday when I had limited bandwidth. The stream shows the FCC bulletin that you wanted put up. So I've got your screen shared and you can hear me fine, but you can't see the StreamYard studio and your video sucks right now.
And what is it about Sunday morning? I don't even know. So
you haven't tithed enough.
Yeah. A satellite company is petitioning the FCC to utilize some of the 70 centimeter band. And this is for a constellation. This is the FCC bulletin. This is long and yada, yada, yada technical lawyer crap in here, but they want to use basically some of the channels within the 70 centimeter band. And I'm going to get rid of this because I've got a web page from the AMSAT people close window. And then we want to share this. And screen share that, share. All right, now you should be seeing this. This is from AMSAT UK.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, hell, I can see it now.
Yeah, you're back to normal.
That was so weird. So this is a more of a better explainer. So the AST and Science LLC, known as AST Space Mobile, wants some frequencies with 50 kilohertz bandwidth, 50 kilohertz bandwidth in the 430 to 440 range. And so that's who has petitioned the FCC. And this page, let me copy this and dump it in the chat for you guys.
Yeah, so the chat is saying that they've already been granted this allocation. It's already happened.
I did not know that because this is I just saw this the other day.
Yeah, so the 21st, I think, was the last day for comments.
For comments, okay.
But William is already saying that they had granted permission before. And it's been my understanding, and I don't know 100% about this, but it's been my understanding that we've always been secondary users on the 70 centimeter band, which is funny because there's no harmonics regulations on the 70 centimeter band on top of that. And if this is true Earth-space communication, our Earth-Earth communication won't harm it too much. But we do have a lot of satellites floating around.
2,332 comments were filed. You can go read those comments if
they were given testing status, if I understand the chat message is correct.
Okay. So that's going on. I should have looked on the ARL's website because they may have something there too. I don't know, but I thought that was interesting. I don't typically use UHF for much.
We just use hotspot stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I'm using UHF for is hotspot stuff.
And there's some repeaters here, like the 2-meter repeaters in Montrose, Colorado don't work, but the 70 centimeter repeater has amazing coverage, and I was using that one yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know, Sarah. I'm sure the ITU was petitioned too. I'm not sure what the deal is. Maybe because
we are the world police
company. Maybe because it was an American company too. Yeah, America. Heck yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I guess that's a thing. Again, here Steve mentioned repeaters. We probably have more UHF repeaters in this area than we do VHF. Ironically, the VHF repeater or two see much more use. So,
well, even the 433 megahertz portion of the 70 centimeter band is public use already. And so, like, I don't know, like this 433 falls between 430 and 440, and that's like all of your key fobs and your garage door openers,
and your
stuff
Xbox
like that.
Controllers. Ask me how I know. Yep. Yeah. When I first was playing with digital, I don't remember what happened exactly, but I realized that the Xbox controller was jacking with the hotspot and causing it to go stupid or something. And then I changed the frequency and it started working. But Steve's right. There's a ton of junk on 433-ish megahertz. So I don't know how that'll affect. What I read also was that it would affect ISS communications. Ham ISS communications, obviously not real communications, but I don't know. Potentially also SAT communications, ham SAT communications, because a lot of those, the downlinks on a bunch of them are in that frequency range as well. They're 70 centimeter downlinks. So, I mean, I'm not an expert on this. I know what I read on this article, and that was about it. And I only looked at that yesterday. So I didn't really even know what was going on until I saw somebody mention about it. Good morning, Ziggy.
Well, that's in our favorite book by Douglas Adams, that whole spot where like we posted in the sub basement of the building that you guys didn't know existed about this upcoming construction project that's going to wipe out your entire planet. Yeah.
Now, Eric Hamstick, good morning. Or good, what is it, like 1 o'clock in the morning over there? Hamstick, he must not be in Hawaii. Right in the right in the middle of UHF downlink portion for AMSAT. So the QRM from those imaging sats will have to compete with the QRM from hams transmitting into sats that they can't hear. So
Right.
it will be a crap fest, a dumpster fire of QRM. I don't know. I think it's a bad idea, but right. And I mean, typically repeaters, UHF repeaters, analogs are 25 kilohertz bandwidth. So these channels are going to be 50 kilohertz bandwidth. So that's interesting. And I wonder how well they're coordinating that from a technical standpoint. I mean, with all the repeater owners out there, right, who already go through their local coordinating council repeater group for their state or their section or whatever. So I would kind of wonder if some of these 50 kilohertz channels are going to whack over the top of somebody's repeater as well.
Oh, it's okay. They all use repeater tones, so it'll all be fine.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was sarcasm.
I detected that. I did.
Just for some people who think that everything I say is 100% gospel.
Right. I don't.
But my humor requires a certain.
I mean, you told me that what happened in Huntsville at Cabin 13 would stay there, and it's a few people have heard that story now.
Well, we can go back to the live stream footage, the archival footage, and we can figure out who was the one who let the cat out of the bag first.
All right. Well, I think that covers everything I wanted to mention this morning.
Well, you got notes.
I know. I'm looking at my notes now. We hit POC radios. We beat on them. The gigaparts replacement thing. I do have one other thing on masts, and it's just my travails. I have a pretty new DX Commander mast that my Rapide mast broke from being out in direct sunlight too long or whatever, mishandling. So I bought a new DX Commander mast for it from DX Engineering. And it does not want to stay up. It just does not want to stay up. And I'm going to have to go get clamps. I have a bunch of them.
Jubilee clips.
Jubilee. I got the fancy ones that Callum uses.
With the finger turners.
Yes. And it will not stay up. And I'm like, it doesn't matter how much I pull and twist that dang thing. It slides right back down. And it's so annoying and I only notice it. And that's my secondary setup for the radio in here. And since I don't have an amp, I don't have the radio in here at this time. But I noticed it yesterday. I was walking back in from the shop and I noticed loose wires hanging around that antenna mast, which meant that it slid down and the 20-meter element is now just, flapping in the wind and not straight and vertical like it's supposed to be. And I was curious if any of you guys have had this issue and if you all went with Jubilee clips. I thought about putting Loctite on it, but I'm afraid that might melt fiberglass or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if you're going to go that route, then just use super glue.
Yeah.
If you don't want it ever coming down and ever being collapsed.
Right. Go all in and just super glue the thing. But it's kind of annoying because unless you are visually inspecting it on a regular basis, you don't really know that it slid down. And I'm not pissing on Callum's Cheerios or whoever makes that mast for him. It's just, I mean, I think in his videos, he tells you to put a clamp on it.
Yeah.
And my
it's part of the shipping container. Yeah.
And my original DX Commander does not have clamps on it. And it has been vertical forever.
So something a little less clampy and a little less permanent than glue would be to put a wrap of electrical tape right around the seam. Cover it in half. Eric's saying the same thing. Cover it in half so that the electrical tape, covers the seam. Yeah. And you just want to create a little bit of resistance to collapsation.
Yeah. And that's actually a good idea. Thanks, Hamstick. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah. I'm the one that said it out loud.
Well, he put it in the chat. He thought it first. So that may be easier to mess with than putting plastic hose clamps on it. It's worth a try. I mean, I've got the hose clamps, so I might as well go with them, but whatever.
It stays up fairly well for all the, I mean, mine was up for like 3 years before there was a problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying. My original, I have a classic, and that's what's connected to the Flex out by the shop. And that one has been vertical since I bought it, and it's like 3 or 4 years old at least, without that kind of thing happening. So I don't know. Jonathan was telling me yesterday he was having mast problems as well, or his wires were coming loose. They wouldn't stay where they were supposed to. And I mentioned electrical tape, but for a different reason. Is when you do the tape, don't do it in a straight loop around it. Do it offset at a diagonal so you have more surface area holding the wire. Because I don't mess with the heat shrink stuff. I live in Alabama. It's hot and humid here most of the year. So I figure the heat shrink will melt over a year anyway and wires will come loose. So, and Scott, I thought about that. That's not a bad idea. 3D printing a lock ring or something. I just need to load it with PETG or PCTG that'll stand up to real heat, or HTPLA, something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, is Carlos jumping today? Dave, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they were talking about it in the chat. I haven't seen the announcement yet, but
Okay.
he's up there.
Great. Well, we have what, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks to Huntsville at this point. 3 weeks.
It's going to fly. It's going to absolutely fly past.
Yeah.
Between now and then.
Yeah. I still intend to jump with Carlos at Hamfest. I think.
Have you updated your will? Do I get all your ham gear?
You know, I'm fine with that. You could have it. Julie won't know what to do with it.
It's been written. It has been said.
I'm fine. Give all this crap to Steve. Tell him to back up a trailer to the shop and just load all the shit in that's out there. I don't care.
Yeah. But I'll just send them a check once a month for the for the proceeds of the sales from all the stuff that Jim has acquired. Because Jim is in the acquisition business.
Yes, says the guy who is constantly rotating things in and out of.
I am honestly, I am legitimately trying my best. Like, I've got stuff in my Amazon cart that I want to buy, but I can't because I have all of this stuff that I need to do. Like, it's so much easier to buy new shiny things, like dream up new ideas. I have a couple of ideas of things that I want to do, but I also have all of these old ideas that I haven't finished yet.
Right. Well, that's kind of, and you can't really see it on the table, but there's 3 or 4 boxes of things over here I need to do something with. They've just like literally been sitting there because I haven't felt like making a video about them or dealing with them in one way or the other. But yeah, Liberty, I'd probably give him the flex. I mean, I'm dead. I don't care. My wife don't want it. It's just a big metal box of nerd stuff she isn't going to care about. So anyway, yeah, Jeff, a high junk to space ratio. That is exactly correct.
Have you been to an actual legitimate estate sale from like a really entrenched ham?
No, I have not. I've seen pictures of it.
There are these, folded metal boxes, with, punched out holes in them with parts inside that they do something. Right. And you'll have fun playing with it. But you look at it and you're like, I don't know what that does, and I don't have time to figure it out. And yeah.
Ziggy said he buys manual tuners. Yes, Ape almost made me go down that rat hole. I bought one at Orlando a couple years ago. And I played with it for 10 minutes one day and said, why am I using this thing? Right. Just not my jam.
So Elodie's asking if the Toad's digital interface works with the Pi 5. It does. Perfect. It just shows up as a USB sound card on the computer side. So it works with any computer.
That's awesome. Leave you an LDG AT1000 Pro 2. Yeah, we might could do that, Greg. I've got one. It's waiting for my Mercury amp to get repaired so I can hook it up to the 7200 that Baltimore Mike hooked me up with it at Dayton. Yeah. I just have zero interest in manual tuners. That's just not my jam.
I have boxes of stuff here. I've got a CW only little radio kit that was made in the 80s that nobody's ever heard of. I want to share it with y'all, but I haven't gotten around to making the video on it because there's too many other shiny new things.
Right. Well, it's some of these videos from a technical standpoint they take a good bit of thinking to figure out how you're going to film it. Right.
Yeah.
Like I started the video I have is because I was making a video about the amp, right? The Mercury amp. And it was mostly just show and tell. It's not anything like I'm telling you how an amp works. I've learned more since I broke it from Hollywood and Kansas Tom than I knew before I bought it. But you know, it's an amp. It makes power, and here's me changing the frequency on the radio, and it makes power on all these bands. I don't know. It's some things are just hard to film. My Astron power supply, Hollywood and I thought we had it fixed, and it worked for like 2 or 3 hours, and then it went stupid again. And that's on the to-do list. I'd love to film all of that, but the thing is large and heavy, and it kind of limits what you can do with camera angles where you could actually see something. And I don't know. I mean, I could film hours of B-roll and then roll it in and talk over it, I suppose. But
Yeah.
And I think it would be an interesting video, but it's just really hard to film all that to make a video. And maybe part of that's just because I'm lazy. But
Well, there's this really weird thing, and I guess it's not weird. I try in my videos to provide value in every video, and one of the things that I think is that if I show you this ultra cool thing that I'm doing and you can't do it, then that's just me teasing you, and I don't like that.
yeah, that's a good point. I like that.
So, like, I have some solar panels that I want to do a review on, but you can't buy them. You can't get them no matter how hard you try. They don't make them anymore, but they're cool solar panels. And then some of the stuff is like these old radios. It's kind of like a little doorway into history. That's cool to share because like the value is in the sharing. Like look at this old piece of kit and how people had fun with QRP kits back in the day. And like you kind of watch a 10-minute video and you're like, oh, I feel a little bit better about the world. But just to do a video because I think something's cool that you guys can't do. Like how is it a how-to video if you can't how to it?
Right. And I've done a couple videos that were like that old Yaesu HT that I got at Dayton or Orlando a couple years ago. I think that was at Orlando. It was just show and tell. It's not like you can go out and buy one of these things. I mean, I got a steal on it. I have literally no use for it. I don't know why I bought it. Probably because it was only $30. I'm like, well, I could throw away $30 on the ground, or I could get a radio. Okay.
Yeah.
Buy a radio.
Hamthropology is fun.
Hamthropology. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. I started talking about that with these Redivis radios. I kind of coined that phrase. Like one of these radios I pulled on and it was fully programmed with everything except for ham radio stuff. Okay.
Now, what was the fix on those? What was wrong with those radios? And are those DMR radios?
No, these are real budget, entry level, high quality 2 meter, 70 centimeter radios.
Okay. Mobiles?
So they're 20 to 25 watts, and I think almost every single one of them that I had was locked on 70 centimeters. So you couldn't transmit above 440. And then there's a 3-finger salute you give it, and it's fine. So one of them, and I don't think I've done the video. I don't think I've made the video. No, I did. I think it was Friday's video. When you turn it on, the display was all garbled and everything. And it's a software bug that, nobody ever thought to do, which makes sense to me. Somebody put the number 3. So there's I'm going to say 6. I don't know what the actual number is. There's a 6-digit field where you can put in like your call sign, your welcome message when the radio boots up. And somebody put the number 3 in the 3rd position with nothing in front of it and nothing behind it. And it's one of those edge cases that the software developers never thought of. And so the display came up all garbled as a result. And that's the one I just had to do a factory reset on to get back to sanity. And it worked fine after that.
It works fine. Well, I went through the same thing with those Baofeng 1801s. Speaking of which, you have my only cable for that and charger.
I can bring that back to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. You've had it for 2 years.
I think I already did bring that. I think I gave that to you at Dayton. I'll look. If I've got it, I'll bring it back to you.
Yeah. RNL, and we're over time. I guess we can wrap this up. But I'm out of coffee. I'm out of Diet Dr. Pepper, and it's almost time for some cool.
This is when Jim starts getting cranky.
I am not cranky. I'm not. Stop it. RNL had like 3 or 4 Baofeng DM 1801s, which is a super budget DMR radio, and I had bought one for myself. Damn it, that stupid
Did it
camera.
Again. Open GD77 compatible.
I thought I turned that damn thing off. I had bought one for myself. Let's see if we do this. Nope, they both did it. You sons of bitches.
I don't even know what signal you were doing.
Okay. Well, I guess we're switching to that camera now.
The forehead cam.
Forehead cam. Playing with the camera angle. I don't care for that. But anyway, I bought one and it works and the software sucks, but it is OpenGD77, which makes it way, way better of a radio. And they had like 3 of them and they wanted $40 a piece. And I emailed them and said, I'll take all 3 of them if you'll sell them to me for $20 a piece. They did. 2 out of the 3 worked fine. You know, it was like Steve's talking about. It was chair to keyboard error was the whole problem with those radios. That was all that was actually wrong with them. I think one of them, I don't know. I think both of them were factory firmware. Just a reset took care of the problem kind of deal. So anyway, and Retevis makes decent radios. I got no complaints. I've got an old Retevis RT52 DMR radio I bought from 2.0 when he was selling radios. There we go. See, we can do the fancy 2 camera thing, but it shows the same stuff, just different angle and more forehead. I thought I had turned off the secret hand signals. Apparently, I made the hand signal and it turned on the hand signals. But
jeez. Oh
yeah. Oh, well, we could talk about that for a minute or two. I do want to go soon, but
he's talking about the thumbnail because that's the shirt you're wearing in the thumbnail.
Yes, I have that shirt.
So do I.
Corky, who I haven't seen him in the chat. Corky and I were chatting at Dayton, and I gave him that idea for a shirt. You can actually get that from Corky QRP's store on Etsy. That's also where you can get that clock behind my big head from Corky QRP as well. And a whole bunch of other ones that are different designs. And those are basically from radio dials from old radios. It's a really nice clock. I think that one needs a battery, but pretty swank. Best solder and place to get it, Chris is asking. Kester.
I am Kester. I'm digging it up.
Amazon. You're buying Kester, just buy it from Amazon or wherever's cheapest for you, whatever makes you happy. Hollywood recommends Kester, and there you go.
So here's the deal, and I think I did spell it right. It does have lead in it. You need the leaded solder. There is a occupational hazard to having lead in the air as you breathe. So take that, use an exhaust fan. Do it right. Don't be like me.
Right. Don't, like my mom said, do as I say, not as I do. Yes, right. Mom. And I've got some lead-free solder. It came with something. I played with it once. Hollywood hates it. If Hollywood hates it, it must really be junk, because he said, throw that crap away.
Yeah, it makes me cry.
So
it requires a whole different technique, and it's largely incompatible with everything that's ever been made. So
yeah. And Handman, exactly right. Wash your hands. I do. As a matter of fact, I do. If I've been soldering, the first thing I do is go inside and wash my hands. I've got hand stuff out in the shop too, but I at least wipe the toxic chemicals off my hands. Or wash your hands before you eat. Hollywood, and Hollywood also told me something, and I think I've mentioned this before on a show that I was unaware of. I have old solder from like Radio Shack in the little tubes that I've had for 1,000 years. And Hollywood yelled at me for using that because apparently the rosin inside goes bad. Who knew? I didn't know. And I changed out to like some new solder I had bought, and it was like, oh, wow, this is a huge difference. So interesting things you learn. And Hollywood's been in the business forever and very smart.
Dave says, have a smoke while soldering.
So that may or may not have happened once or twice.
Remember your grandpa working on the carburetor with a cigarette with an ash this long hanging off the end of it,
right over the throat, right over the throat of the carburetor. Yeah.
Yep. And you still made it to existence, Jim.
Yeah. Well, somehow, and I would venture to say most of you people in the chat, somehow we rode our bikes all over the place without helmets and knee pads and, guardrails and everything else.
Drank from garden hoses before they changed them to
Absolutely.
poisonous
Absolutely. I drank out of the end of I
chemicals.
cannot count. My mom did not want me and my nasty friends coming in the house, and their mom didn't want us coming in the house. We're
Nothing
thirsty.
better than
There's a
hot water
garden
out of the
hose
garden
outside.
hose. Yeah.
Yeah. You had to let it run a little while, but
Yeah.
then it was fine. Yeah, Lon, I didn't ever think about the rosin. I just a little tube of solder, grabbed it and soldered.
Well, that's the problem that Solderoid Frank had. He had a
Mhm.
non-good soldering iron. He had one of the cheap 45-watt dinguses from Walmart, and it wasn't. I'm just making an analogy. Go with it.
Right.
And he had ancient solder that had long since expired.
Lee is saying similar technique,
Yep.
just higher temperatures, but yeah, then you have to worry about smoking something. And if you don't have good technique, then you'll end up smoking something on purpose. Oh yeah, I may or may not have, Hank, as a fireman, been standing at the local gas station, which is a country store with like 3 pumps, right? Refilling the rescue truck, which was gas,
While smoking a cigarette.
while I had a cigarette hanging out of my mouth, filling up the gas tank.
It's actually really hard.
It's
I have
a lot
heard,
harder than you can imagine to make that happen.
I have heard that the gas tank truck drivers on the first day, they take a lit match and drop it in the tank.
Yep.
And because the stoichiometric ratio isn't correct, it does not explode. There's too much gas and not enough oxygen.
Yeah, it's a rich lean thing. It's a thing. In the fire biz, it's the lower explosive limit, LEL. And if the product, whatever it is, whether it's gasoline or something else that's flammable, if it's not within the explosive limit, it's not going to explode. And in a gas tank neck, you are way not enough oxygen.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah, it's gas fumes.
Pass the tale along.
Right.
We don't need you to prove this thing that's already been proven.
Right.
But if you do decide to do it, I want it on film.
Well, I mean, I answered I don't know how many car fires over the years, right? And I remember a couple of them that stood out in my mind of weird things I saw during car fires. So we caught a car fire on the interstate once, and it was for some company van, and the guy's standing way back from the burning van when we pull up, and he's like, "Man, I just filled up the gas tank. She's going to blow." That does not happen except in very, 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 very rare circumstances. They don't blow up. That's TV. They just burn merrily. And then the gas tank ruptures and liquid burning gas falls on the ground in a rather boring fashion.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is the way they make gas tanks and the welds when they finally get hot enough and just let go. But, the cap is going to slag and melt off, letting you vent pressure before it gets up to boom level, which would be the only way it's going to blow up. The other thing I've seen once or twice, potentially, if the fire is in the right place and the gas tank is venting enough gas and the air mixture is right at the edge of where the gas cap is, potentially it's flammable. And what it will do occasionally, and I've literally seen this, is it'll bark. It'll go whoosh, and that's it. It's done, because it didn't have enough oxygen down in the neck to do anything, and it's not going to. It's going to mix the fuel air that's right outside the edge of the gas tank inlet, and then it's done. So anyway, now welding a gas tank is a whole nother story for multiple reasons, but yeah,
anything will blow up or burn if you get it hot enough. I mean, I love welding. Welding is like I am wielding molten metal with electricity.
Yep. And Dave, exactly right. Dave, are you fireman too? Or were you? Are you?
Probably.
I think you were.
I've worked on a lot of gas tanks, automotive gas tanks. And the thing that blows your mind is when you pull the fuel pump out of the gas tank, it's just exposed bare wires floating around in a pool of gasoline.
Yep.
No problem. But in order to get the mechanism off the top of the tank, you have to drift it out with a hammer and and a drift, and that might cause a spark. That might cause a problem for you.
Yep. And Dave, who is in the fire business or was, still is, whatever. Yeah, the batteries, I'm more concerned about those. Gas piston struts that the bumpers are held onto, I have seen them things shoot out about 50 or 100 yards if they heat up in the right way. So we always told our guys, and I think
Don't
it's
stand
in
front of
the
bumper.
book, approach from an angle. Don't try not to walk straight in front of the bumper, the front bumper, during a car fire until you get it under control. But
Yeah, electric cars are like the worst thing for the environment. It's so funny.
I never had to catch, I never caught an electric car fire. And we did a lot of training on them
It's all hazmat.
about what not to touch. I mean, the battery's toxic.
Don't even breathe. Yeah.
The battery will kill you in multiple ways. You know, I just always lived in fear of somebody getting a little too excited and running a cutter tool across the positive line of a 400 volt, 80 billion amp battery. And yeah. Anyway. So, fellas, I think that about wraps it. T.O., you got it. What's cooking on Nuggets tomorrow night?
I think we're going to do some more of the Toads digital interface stuff. We've got new stock, and the 6-pin daughter boards are in stock, and mine should be here. They said they were delivered yesterday, but I don't have access to the mailbox because I don't have a house. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put it on easy mode, and we're going to use the rear speaker port on the RT95 and get it all wired up and get sound coming in and out of it, because it requires a level of technical difficulty that's higher than I'm currently capable of doing in order to deal with the front pin, the front microphone jack speaker pin, because that speaker pin is also the up button on the microphone, and something in the wiring of my breadboard stuff, which is sitting right here, is triggering the up functionality. And
Okay.
so it's constantly changing the channel, and I need to learn, which is what Nuggets is all about. But I also don't want people to think that this thing doesn't work and can't be done. So we're going to do it on easy mode first, and this is the way most people will do it. I just happen to pick the most difficult project for my knowledge base right now.
Well, that's honestly diving in the deep end of the pool. You're going to learn to swim. You know.
Yep.
So
I will satisfy this problem. I mean, obviously, sound comes out. And you don't hear. So what I hear in my setup is, which is somebody pushing the up button over and over and over and over again. It needs a blocking cap. You're absolutely correct. It has one. It's just weird. Likely to be difficult to connect to an FT150. I don't know the pin out on the FT150, but if it's the 6 or 10 pin, super easy with the daughter board, or you can just make your own.
Is the 150? See, you're talking about the 150 RASP. I'm sure it has the.
That probably has a 10 pin on the back.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I said multi because I don't know what it is they're using this month, but yeah.
Panel.
I mean, like my old 1500 has the 6 pin, I think 6 or 8. I had to find a cable for it.
Trying to find a picture of the rear of the radio, so I know.
She said 10 pin.
10 pin. Yeah. So you want the CT164 cable, and you can get the official version from Yaesu for like $50, or you can get one off of Amazon/eBay for like $8. And then you just get a regular.
Your guide.
Yeah, you get the regular 6-pin to 6-pin cable, and then you get the CT164 adapter from 6 to 10. So they are electrically compatible, but not pin compatible, because the 10 pin has extra pins, 4 extra pins.
Yeah,
but it'll work great with that.
Yep,
and that's actually one of the exact use cases is, radios with weird pinouts that, modern radios with USB audio out you don't need this board. This is for older stuff or for tinkering, which is what we doing.
Yeah. And thank God it's not D-Star.
Right.
So it probably won't be a 2.5-hour show tomorrow night. Awesome.
We do this not because it is easy, but because it is hard.
Because it is hard. That's right.
We intend to do this and the other thing before the end of this decade, whatever he says.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I always think that's funny. His most famous quote, "We intend to put a man on the moon and do the other thing." Like the other thing.
Right. What was the other thing? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't important enough to even mention it by name. But it's in the most famous quote from a president ever.
Right. All right. I'm going to hit the button, guys. Thank you
Yeah.
all for being here. Appreciate it very much.
Decade.
Where's the end button on this thing?
Upper right corner, it says end stream.
Oh, there it is.
It's the same place it was in the other studio.
Yeah, it's just not highlighted.
It's just a different color. Yeah, it's blue on blue.
Appreciate y'all being here. Thanks, guys. Take care. See ya. Button engaged.